we're gonna take this blower out and clean this nasty thing up, bro. Hold on, let me flip it over. Motor don't look too bad. I can blow it out a little bit. Cage is pretty nasty, but that right there, that's air resistance. So that's the reason why we're gonna clean it up. Cool? Let's get to it, bro. It's a beautiful thing about this little tool here is that you got all your sockets. Bam, I'll bet. That's why I really like this Klein. That it has the majority of your HVAC sockets. So anyways, you know what? Let me put those back in. I'm gonna take out disconnect the shaft. I need to put the ball back in. That's not even connected. We have to fix that one. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect my shaft. It's a square nut here on the side. Ooh, she slid down. So before I go get stupid and try to yank that out, I'm gonna clean that up real quick. The reason why, well, no, I got some in here. The reason why is because if you try to pull that up or yank on it, hold on a second, let me get a piece of sandpaper. If you try to yank that out and there's a bunch of resistance on there, it'll bind up, and then you'll be playing heck trying to get it out. You know what I mean? So if you take a second, even though it looks smooth and clean, if you take a second, man, and clean that shaft off, that'll usually slide pretty good. And then I'm gonna put a little spit on it, just a little bit, because trust me, man, I've done this enough where you go to yank on it and then it binds up in there and you can't get it out, and then you gotta get the puller out, the whole 9 yards. So anyways, let's get this motor off here. See, that just made that removal so freaking easy. So now comes the fun part. You gotta take this cover off, to get the blower housing out, or get the blower out. And it's usually just little screws on the sides. Yeah, got a couple flatheads, and then these quarters back in the back. Get the Wonder Tool back out. That's why I love the thing, man. You can adjust it whatever you want. Oh, wrong end. Get the right end in there. 1/4 inch. No, those are not going through that. At least I don't think they are. No, they're not. I got a little screw right there. Little flathead. Look, Mom, I'm doing manual labor. Just joking, man. What I hate about those, man. It's got a little spinner on the back. Don't lose it. A little plate on the back. Set those aside. And then we'll take out the two sides. Got a little, oops, dropped it. It's like a little nut or a washer. So what this is doing is holding that plate up there. That's all this is. This is a little plate for air direction. There we go. Got that nasty thing out. So now we just slide the blower out the hole. Yep, gonna have a nut in my way. Get that screw out. I got one more. Looks like it's all the way around. They're catching on the side. There we go. Now we'll take and take a water hose to it. Spray it off real good. Same thing with the blower housing. Alright. So we get it all cleaned up the best I could. I took a pressure washer to it, cleaned it up. I mean, I'm not sanitizing it, you know, so don't get all bent, but all the furries are off of it. So now I gotta put it back together. Drop the blower down. Gotta make sure you put it in the right way. You know, the key up. Let me get some gloves, man. That's pretty dirty. I mean, it's wet, so all that loose stuff's coming off. Like I said, I'm not sanitizing it, man. I just want to get the big furries off of it. So once you get that, oh, flip it over. I'm gonna put that back in there. I'll put you over there where you can see me. So now we'll put the motor back in. You gotta make sure you get the key right. I can see the thing. Is that right? Looks about right. It's the best way to do this is set it on a bucket. I got a bucket here, so slide that over out of the way. Put a bucket here. The reason why is because the shaft is longer. The shaft is longer, so it's it won't let the motor fall down all the way. So let's see. Maybe put the bolts back in it. Make sure they're good and secure. Oh, wrong way. Come on. I want to play nice. Play nice. There we go. I'm just going to get started. That way I can line the other three or other two up. Make sure I went through there. Neither one of those are tight. That's tight. So my problem is with this is that these are rounded out. The holes are. The problem with that is that it'll just wobble itself back out. And I don't like that. Look at this crazy crap, man. They just wired let's just run them around through there. Man, stuff I come across, bro. This was just dangling down in there. It didn't have a strap on it or nothing. So we'll put it up here on the side. So pull that bolt back out. holes are rounded out. So if I move it over, still keep the blower in the same, you have to keep your blower in the center. But if we rotate it slightly and then pre-drill a small hole, then we can reset these bolts. So looks like I'm in there in a good spot. So I'm gonna pre-drill me a hole slightly. Like I said, you gotta make sure that your blower is in the center. It looks about right there. It looks better. I like it there. So I'm gonna pre-drill me a hole, or at least mark it. There we go. Now we can set the screws. I get the hole big enough. Nope, I didn't. No big deal. Just make the hole bigger. I don't want to make the hole too big, because then the nut will round it out. I just want it big enough that it's just a pilot hole, you know. There we go. That way it's nice and tight, and it's not going to wobble itself back out, because I had that happen to one. I had it actually, blower came loose and was like scratching around. So, whoops, forgot the ground wire. Put that back on. Up. Put it down through there. Get that back in there. Whoops, I missed. There we go. Good to go. Good to go on that. So now, flip it up and put the cage top back on. I remember which way it goes. It goes this way. It goes that way, man. Find my bolts, tighten this up, and go from there. Alright, so I got all the screws back in it, no problem. We'll go ahead and adjust these wires. This is the back of the motor when it's sitting back in the cage. So, number one, I don't need these wires. So I'm going to cut them off right here and rewire nut them. You know, because you don't need these guys. We'll put these wire nuts back on, and then I'll zip tie it all together. You know, like I say, guys, whenever you're doing stuff like this, man, just take a second, man, and do it right. I mean, you know, we don't need to have to do something. Just put some wire nut covers on it. And I'll take a air hose to the motor. Blow it all out when I'm done. Alright, so this is my power wires for the blower. I'm going to bring these up here. You want a little, these wires here, I want these to be accessible in case the cap goes out. I can I can always take it off. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way of I think I got some strap. I'll strap this all down, you know, take the wires underneath it, something like that. Maybe turn it this way. I think I'll probably try to turn it this way. That way, if I need to, I can test the ohm. I can ohm it out, see if it's bad. So let me find some strapping real quick. Okay, so when I got that all done, so now we got to set the blower back in place. There's a flat side on the shaft, and that's where that nut goes. You just want to pull it up enough where it's clearing everything, and then just tighten this up. Before you torque it down though, we'll spin it and make sure there's no resistance. Cool? As long as you got no resistance, proper tool, man. Because the pliers will just round off the corners. That's the reason why I say that. And that'll be good, bro. While I'm here, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this shaft off. It sticks out too far. Cool. So I just cut that shaft off. I don't like it sticking out there like that. So I'm gonna spin it nice and clean, no resistance. So we are golden. That was all we gotta do is put it back in. I think I'm gonna put a screw right there. It's kind of stick. There's no screws on this side. Let's just keep this housing from moving around. Cool beans. Get all the wires zip tied up out of the way. The only thing I had was a hose clamp. It was just sitting on the shelf. I couldn't find any strap, but I just strapped it down. That way it's right here. I can get to it easily. Hook up the wires. We're good to go, man. But on this furnace, we're going to have to clean the coil off. So we'll have to take the Go Juice and scrubber. Clean that coil off, man, because it's really freaking nasty. Cool. Let's go to it, boys. I think that one was on the top. Why you always take pictures? One with the ribs on the top. Okay. Red on the top. Let's make sure we don't hit. Okay. We're not going to hit anything back there. Looks good. Put some screws in it. These little Phillips. Just out of the way, red's on top. There we go. These two screws in there. Cool. Now we got to rewire it. Gloves off. So we got center to point. Center to point. This one's already on. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so this one is going to go on top. This one's on the bottom. Okay, so this is wired back up. I got one wire. I got a wire missing. Right here. Let's see where it's at. So we had 2 wires. Yellow. Where's this at? Here it is. Like 2 wires. One with the yellow. It was on top. Okay, so I gotta put the blower back in first. Set the blower because the wire's in front of it. Ooh, good times. Okay. Take the wires. Yellow on the top, blue on the bottom. And then we got a power wire for the blower. Let's just set that in mess. Power wire for the blower. I think it's this one. Yeah. So tick, blue is the black, and red wire nut for the white. Blue, I'm gonna put wire nuts in that. I don't have one. We'll get one though. Not the proper size wire nut. It'll hold for a second. And then the white wire is up here. Oh, that's a shorty piece of wire. All this is shorty wire. Let's clean this up. Oh. Proper wire contact. Proper wire. What's wrong with that wire nut? It's all pointing out proper on there. Alright. Have some little wire nuts. You know what I mean? Let's test it out. give it a test run. Make sure it's going to work. Wires are up. Everything's cool. Everything's good. Let's give it a shot. Working. It's working. Well, it is what it is, man. You have to go back and look at, because some of you guys are new. You have to go back and watch some of them other videos, like Let's Clean It Up, or I think the video is called Let's Clean Up the Nasty or something like that. It's from back a while back. How I go in and clean those coils off and cap that bottom so it's not sucking air from underneath the furnace. It's actually sucking it from, you know what I mean? Because these furnaces, man, you're talking about patch togethers. I think it's original furnace from 1970. That's original A coil, still working, 22 A coils. If you see one of these videos where that's got that old coil, 98% of the time, that's still R22 in that system. They're old, man.